The sky is burning. Instead of the blue you have always known, it is full of fire. Blazing oranges and yellows, even flickers of green. The air is a hazy yellow, and it has grown unbearably hot. There's a deep, strenuous tension in the air, plucking at your every nerve until they are afraid and fraught with terror. Beside you are 4 other people that are curiously familiar to you, even though you have never seen them before in your life. With this tension is the innate, almost relieved knowledge that soon things are going to end. The looming shadow that has been an oppressive noose around your throat is easing, if only a fraction. All around you, the forest is silent, as quiet as a cemetery. The sounds of the wildlife had long since ended, and that morning the last of the beasts in the area had fled. Even though your Theurge, Dusk Strider, had foretold it would happen, it was as though the world itself had confirmed. The quiet sound of something metal twisting on metal awakens you to the familiar sight of the large van that you've been traveling in most of the day. Glancing around, you see that you've stopped at a gas station and your partner, Brandon, is outside getting gas. Looking behind you, you can see that there is something covered up in the back and strapped down, though it is silent. And then there's a knock on the window, and it's Brandon. Did you roll the window down or anything like that? Ignore
I
him?
just awkwardly stare.
So then through the window he goes, "Do you want anything?"
I shake my head no.
And for your reference, Brandon is a tanned-skinned man with a dark beard and a mustache and has like dark slick-back hair. And he's actually dressed pretty nicely in a button-down, a pair of jeans, and then polished jack boots. So then he goes inside, and a couple minutes later he returns and he's carrying a bottle of water for himself. Then you guys are on the road again, and about halfway through the day, what little civilization there is practically becomes non-existent. Instead of a long stretch of roadway, it begins to be a gradually curving road with thick forestry lining either side. An hour or two after that, you finally come across a fairly small town. You catch a sign as you pass, Clam Lake Unincorporated. And make a perception check. So that is wits plus perception.
Perception is what mental things.
Well, wits is on top, isn't it?
So perception.
But I have 1 point more in perception.
Oh, I see. Okay. Perception and alertness is what I meant to say then.
So 6.
And the DC is 6. Okay, so if you have anything 6 and above,
Well, I got a 1.
Oh, 2 successes.
alright.
Is the 1 taste.
So as you guys go through the main part of this very small town, you can see the Clam Lake gas station, and then as you guys go past, you turn your head just enough, and you see a cop car parked behind the garage. And this gas station is more than just a gas station. It's a gas station. You can also see that there are rooms for the hotel part, and things like that. So it's kind of an all-in-one for this really small town. And then you guys make a very short 3-minute journey to the Murmurwood Cabin Rental. And then as Brandon parks, he says, "This is it, wait here, I'll grab the keys and shit, and then we'll move her." So then he pulls up towards the bigger of the cabins that are there. There are 2, and then there's a small office kind of building. And he turns everything off and jogs inside. And you're a city kid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're a city kid. So a lot of the scenery is pretty foreign to you. They don't have forests, really. You might have the park or something like that, but that's about it. You can't even really tell the difference between an oak tree and a maple tree. But there's just something about this particular landscape that speaks to you. And just as you're beginning to realize the strange connection, the door opens and Brandon climbs in. And he moves the van up to the cabin further, but like angled it so it's behind the cabin itself. so that the office building you can't be seen from the windows, and then the trees kind of block the rest of you off from the other side. And he says the guy will be here tonight, so we just need to sit tight until then. So then he sends you inside with your stuff. And you guys are actually in the smaller cabin. And he deals with your cargo. So as you walk in, you see that it is what you could imagine as a fairly typical cabin. There's a wooden interior with a chandelier from high ceilings, some rustic decorations, a gas fireplace with a stone facade, TV, and a comfortable looking blue sofa. In the far corner, there's a gray armchair, and then part of the wall is a large bay window with a cushioned bench. So then, as you're kind of looking around and stuff like that, Brandon walks in carrying something bridal style in his arms that has a blanket over them. And he disappears into the larger bedroom, and you are free to do what you would like until that evening.
Go to the window to see what's all. What speaks to me.
Okay. As you look out the windows, you can see that these cabins are literally settled in the heart of the forest, so to speak. So this is the Chequamegon-Nicolet National Forest. So what you see are trees, lots of fucking trees. However, when you look out the big bay window, there's also the sliding glass doors next to it, which has like a little patio deck area, and there's a little like fire pit, things like that. And then there's a little path that leads down to a beach area with the lake, little clam lake, I believe it is. And it's not so much anything that stands out to you that speaks to you. It's more the area and the landscape itself, like being out in the woods, because you've never really had a chance to before, just because your lifestyle's kind of kept you basically in the city, kind of at the whim of your boss. So this is kind of one of the first times that you've really been able to be out and about and experience this, and it feels right.
Alright. Don't know what to do.
You can like go put your stuff away. If you want, you can even go exploring. Obviously, you would know to kind of keep a low profile, just based on what you've done before and what Brandon has probably told you during this trip. And Brandon is your usual partner. He's older, but he's been in the business a while, and he's kind of your mentor, so to speak.
I guess what my guy would do is probably scope the surrounding, get a lay of the land, but kind of stealth him.
Okay. I guess you can roll me. I guess Dex and Stealth.
So that's number 6 dice.
Yep. All of these.
DC 5.
5 counts as success, right?
Yeah.
4.
Okay. You've never really been in the woods, but you seem to have this almost kind of like primal knowledge of where to put your feet to avoid stepping on broken branches and things like that. And it is actually winter time. It's December, but there actually hasn't been snow. So most of the stuff is dead, kind of broken. It's not really the time of year that you would normally go camping in the woods. And in fact, you're aware that normally these cabins aren't even open at this time of year. So as you're looking around, you don't really find too much of note. There aren't really people around. Mostly what you find is like trash left behind by people that have kind of passed through the area. Roll me intelligence and law. Yeah,
Alright,
just a
so
little bit.
Do you see what?
6. Sorry.
2 success. No, 3.
3 successes, yep.
Okay. So this isn't the type of law that you're usually kind of like aware of, but you happen to hear on the radio about the government shutdown. And you happen to hear about the newscaster, the radio host or whatever, talking about how a lot of the national forests are suffering because there's no rangers and things like that to help take care of the woods at this point. So people that are going through are leaving trash behind, and it's just overall not very good. So seeing this trash kind of stands out to you strangely, just because you would figure that they would be keeping this place clean, but with the government shutdown, you know that it's been rough for them trying to keep up. And as you explore a little bit further, you find that the beachfront kind of encapsulates a large territory, and then there's a little like wooden bench at the beach, but there isn't a whole lot in the way of like man-made structures or anything like that. And there, like I said, there isn't really any people. It's pretty empty.
Alright. So, at this point, you'd say I got a decent understanding of my surroundings?
Yeah.
So, at that, I would probably go back to the cabin and put my stuff away.
Okay. And like I said earlier, there is the smaller cabin, which is Moonsong, which is kind of, it's built of a lighter wood with like dark forest-grained accents, and then there's the bigger one, which is the Murmurwood cabin itself, which is also the lighter wood, but it has red accents, if I remember correctly. And then the small office building, which at this point is now empty, the lights are off, like nobody was ever there.